page and front page, the Daily Tar Heel is making news this week.
Use your laptop in class to take notes. More and more professors are saying no way.
And the basketball injury we've all been talking about. We'll tell you about the recovery Louisville's Kevin Ware can expect. Carolina Week
starts now.
From the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
Federal investigators from the U.S. Department of Education are on campus this week. They're looking into whether the university has underreported crime statistics related to rape and sexual assaults. Good evening, I'm Avery Harper.
And I'm Alex Giles. It'll probably be a while before we hear anything, but there are plenty of strong feelings on campus over this issue right now. Evidence, a front page, full page Daily Tar Heel editorial demanding change. Something pretty unusual in and of itself. I sat down with the opinion page editor to talk about the decision. Nathan D'Ambrosio is a senior at UNC and a co-editor of the Daily Tar Heel opinion page. He says it was appropriate to run the editorial, a full-page editorial on the front page of the paper.
As a newspaper, since we've been covering this for so long, we had a very special position to speak from on it because we know a lot about it. And we also felt that we had a duty to sort of, with the student body, put forth one of our own suggestions to enter that into the discussion as a whole.
UNC journalism professor Farrell Guillory was editor of his campus newspaper at Loyola University. He's also the former editorial page editor for the News and Observer in Raleigh. He says it's rare to see an editorial on the front page of a newspaper, but it happens.
There have been editors and publishers of major metropolitan newspapers that have used the front page to express an opinion on a major issue.
But did the Daily Tar Heel make the right decision to run its editorial on their front page?
What the Daily Tar Heel did, it seems to me, is within the parameters of professional journalism. It is a way of saying that this is really important and we feel strongly about it.
And D'Ambrosio says the paper does feel strongly about this sexual assault policy issue.
We have a criminal justice system built in to handle this sorts of thing. And the university should be there to provide support and counseling and advice, but it shouldn't be there to, try and achieve justice through punishment and adjudication.
D'Ambrosio says the paper stands behind its decision to run the editorial and has only received positive feedback so far. More than 100 T-shirts out in the quad today. Been there all week. They're there to raise awareness for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The UNC student group SWAG, which stands for Students Working for Adequation of Gender, hung the T-shirts. Each features messages for women who have been raped or assaulted. SWAG works closely with the Rape Crisis Center to help prevent gender violence and stereotypes. Group officials say they will be raising money in the pit tomorrow.
UNC is changing health providers, and it looks like UNC students will be getting a break. The university's contract with Pierce & Pierce is coming to an end, and officials have decided to switch to Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. That's because the university is required under the Affordable Care Act to seek out the least expensive insurance for students. And right now, that's Blue Cross Blue Shield. Effective this month, health insurance will cost a student $1,290 per year. That compares with $1,418 a year under the Pierce & Pierce plan. UNC administrators are back at it. They still want to build a pedestrian bridge across South Road. The bridge will cross the western end of South Road, connecting with the Genome Sciences building and Caudill Labs. On the south end, the bridge will have a second entrance near Coker Hall. The bridge would run almost parallel to Bell Tower Drive. It would cost $9.5 million, which would empty the university's pedestrian safety fund. The first proposal for a bridge on campus came in 2010 and was postponed indefinitely due to lack of funding.
Orange and Durham County voters approved a half-cent sales tax increase in November. Now it's in effect. The money from the transit tax will be put toward expanding the bus system and building a light rail system. The light rail would run from UNC hospitals to Alston Avenue in Durham.
Come 2015, UNC students will have a new housing option on South Campus. That's because Odom Village will be closing due to sprinkler requirements. Plans for a new dorm are still in the works, but locations being considered include the area between Earring House and Corey Residence Halls, the area between Sasby North and Rams Head Parking Deck, and either side of Blythe Drive. The new dorm will likely have super suites similar to Morrison Residence Hall. Okay, admit it. You bring your laptop to class supposedly to take notes, and you find yourself checking Facebook or looking at videos, things like that.
Oh, you sure do. Well, some professors are starting to catch on. Carolyn Chandler reports.
Meredith Murchison is an international studies major and brings her laptop to class every day. She thinks it's an important tool for her to be successful.
I always use my laptop in class because it's easier and quicker for me when I'm trying to listen to the teacher and take notes.
But Murchison and other students might not have the option to use laptops in some classes.
You discover that the technology alone...
Some professors are banning laptops in class because they believe they're a distraction. Dr. Kathy Packer banned laptops in her classes for the first time this past fall.
I was really tired of talking to people who weren't paying attention. And I know they weren't paying attention because I'd be at a part of the lecture where I'd be talking about spring break, or telling some bad story about bird watching or something that, there was no reason to take notes, and I'd have people in the back of the room who were typing nonstop.
And she may have a point. Professors who allow laptops in class may be unaware of what really does go on behind those screens. While some students do use them to take notes, others use them for Facebook, to check the news, a place to hide their cell phone, and even watch TV. Associate professor in the School of Education, Steve Notek, says laptops can be detrimental to learning if used incorrectly.
We can only attend to one or two things at a time, and if you are attending to something else like what's going on Facebook, you can't do the hard work that's necessary for you to get the investment on your education dollar, basically.
Despite laptops being a distraction for some, Murchison thinks banning laptops will hurt students that use them appropriately.
Students will use the computer for the wrong reasons. They'll go on Facebook, they'll go on Twitter, but those students don't really want to learn anyways, so it's not fair to take it away from those who do want to learn and want to use it in a beneficial way.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Carolyn Chandler.
No word on the number of professors banning laptops from class. The university doesn't track those numbers. Despite the laptop ban, Dr. Packer says grades in her media law class did not improve, but class participation did.
The recent hacking of Burger King and Jeep's corporate Twitter accounts has us all thinking about online security. With just a few tips, you can better protect your information. Reporter Brianna Harper spoke with security specialists who say they know the key to blocking computer hackers.
Security devices are all around us. They're one way we protect our property and personal information. And on the corporate level, security is an even greater priority. CII Technology Solutions' Mike Taylor explains.
Corporations should have different policies, meaning only people who need access to corporate credentials should have them.
Corporate online security is often threatened by viruses, hackers, and most recently, keyloggers.
One of the biggest threats that's out there today is keyloggers, data miners, where they're stealing your corporate information as you're typing it.
By using sturdier firewalls and greater account protection, companies can prevent breaks in security. Taylor and other online security specialists suggest using more complex passwords, limiting access to company users, and blocking access to online applications. Companies need these security measures more than ever with the rise of social media. With just a few clicks on the computer, a hacker can easily move from being an outsider to an insider when it comes to invading corporate social media accounts like Twitter. Joanne Chase owns a Raleigh public relations firm and says, in today's business world, building a social media presence can be beneficial, but only if you're protected from outside hacking. As much as social media can help build a brand, the impact of corporate hacking can just as easily damage a company's image.
If a fan sees something that they don't like, that they think may be malicious or could impair their own computer security, they can automatically, with a click of a mouse, no longer follow your brand.
Maintaining corporate security is the ultimate goal, protecting the company's image and the information. Chase says the best way to accomplish this is something that we can all relate to.
I would recommend for people to really treat their corporate social media channels like they would their bank account. You really need to keep it secure and minimize who has access.
So far, no major brands have abandoned Twitter due to hacking. The social media network says it's account holders' responsibilities to keep their accounts safe.
Looks pretty good. Well, it gets even better.
And it's good for you. The Health and Science Report is next. Connect with us online by liking the Carolina Week Facebook page and following us on Twitter at Carolina Week UNC.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
This song was created with heartbeats of children in need. Find out how it can help frontline health workers bring hope to millions of children at everybeatmatters.org.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Heart disease and stroke are 2 of the 5 leading causes of death among Americans. A new study shows that we should all be eating more of a particular kind of ethnic food to help reduce our risk. Joining us now is health reporter Dan Lane. Dan, please tell us this heart-healthy ethnic food is Mexican food.
No, I'm sorry, Alex. Chips and queso are still bad for us. But take a look at the benefits of another type of diet.
For 22 years, Mediterranean deli owner Jamil Kadura has been serving Chapel Hill residents the food he grew up with in Jerusalem. He says his customers are often looking for healthful options.
So Americans are becoming smarter and smarter on what they eat. And part of that, the education they're getting from the overseas, from people like us.
A recent study in the New England Journal of Medicine found people at risk for heart disease can reduce their chances of heart attack or stroke by eating a Mediterranean diet.
We knew this type of food was good, and we were always proud of it, but we didn't know all this study after study later on is going to validate what we're saying.
The Mediterranean diet favors fresh fruits and vegetables, fish, olive oil, and nuts. The diet cuts back on processed baked goods and red meats. The study showed when compared with the low-fat diet, the Mediterranean diet reduced stroke by 30%. UNC public health professor Alice Ammerman says people who eat a Mediterranean diet don't avoid fat.
One of the big, I think, landmark things that this study kind of points out is that we really are better off with a higher amount of fat, but good quality fat.
That good fat in the Mediterranean diet comes from nuts and olive oil, and lots of it. More than 4 tablespoons a day. The study also showed that people are more likely to stick with a Mediterranean diet than a low-fat one.
People have got this notion that healthy food tastes bad, or you know, that if it's healthy, it's got to be sort of boring and unappetizing, and so this kind of turns that on its head a little bit.
Now, the Mediterranean diet may not prevent all strokes and heart attacks, but the diet, coupled with exercise and other healthy habits, may keep you healthier longer. However, it won't help you lose weight by itself.
We have another health report to bring to you tonight. Tanning beds, do they cause cancer? Some dermatologists say yes, and North Carolina lawmakers are listening. A bill banning teens under 18 from using tanning beds is closer to becoming law. Sefia Makpai reports.
Christy Scott just started coming to Jill's Beach Tanning Salon and says she does it for a reason.
I don't want to burn when I'm out in the sun all day, and if I get a good base tan here, then I don't have to worry about burning.
Scott typically comes in on her lunch break and tans for about 8 minutes. General Manager Bree Gaskell says timing is everything. She says the issue isn't exposure, it's overexposure, and they do what they can to prevent that.
We only move people up 1 minute at a time. We put them into a skin analysis. We do a matrix, and then we start them out at a low level.
And Gaskell says there are options for those who wish to avoid the tanning beds, like this spray tan machine. Although there are some safer options out there, dermatologists say it's best if these doors were closed on youths under 18 forever.
Particularly adolescent groups.
State Representative Jim Fulgham, who's also a retired physician, agrees. He sponsored the bill.
The data that we've seen over the last 10 years or so has made it obvious that there's continued risk.
Gaskell thinks legislators don't have all the facts.
I just feel like the legislators should have come to us to see what actually goes on in a tanning salon.
They've adjusted over the years, and again, they've known they've been under state control in large aspects of their business. And this is just another reasonable restriction. 18 and under, I don't think is unreasonable.
And for the mom of a daughter who may soon want to head to the tanning salon,
and I'd much rather get it here with a no burn policy than get it on a beach and get fried.
Remember the gender-neutral housing policy UNC adopted back in November? Well, some North Carolina lawmakers don't think much of the idea. 3 senators, Republicans David Curtis and Ben Clark, and Democrat Chad Barefoot, introduced a bill that says members of the opposite sex can only share a dorm room, dorm suite, or campus apartment if they are siblings or legally married. Senator Curtis, the bill's primary sponsor, says the UNC system should maintain its focus on education. He said, quote, UNC did not become a national leader in academics by wasting time and tax dollars on frivolous social experiments. The policies the UNC's Board of Trustees unanimously adopted says students could share a dorm suite or campus apartment with a member of the opposite sex, but not a dorm room. Unless delayed by lawmakers, the UNC gender-neutral housing policy will start in the fall. Well, Alex, it's certainly looking and feeling like spring outside.
I hope it sticks around. Meteorologist Drew Day has our weather forecast next.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't.
Oh. It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay,
Yeah.
here it comes.
Oh, no!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you.
Let's go.
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
It was not. It was like...
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
All right, welcome back to Carolina Week, everyone. I'm Drew Day. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're going to go ahead and start off your forecast this evening with a look at the nationwide satellite. And you can see across the area today we had plenty of sunshine across North Carolina, and so we saw temperatures warm on up into the 50s out there today. But the next system that we're watching is sitting off just to our south and west. You can see this big area of cloud cover sitting over the Gulf coastal states, and this area will begin to push to the north here throughout the overnight period. As we take a look at the radar as it stands right now, you can see again a big massive area of rain off to our south and west, and so as this begins to push to the north throughout the period of overnight tonight, and so it'll reach the area by tomorrow afternoon, and then those showers will continue throughout the evening on Friday. So those of you in the southern part of the state, you'll start to see this rain area move in first, and then it'll be later in the afternoon around the triangle in the North Carolina-Virginia border where then you would start to see and get in on some of the rain from this system. So as we take you through the next 24 hours here, You can see this area of low pressure sitting off to our south and west, and a lot of the area of precipitation in conjunction with it. This is by 8 p.m. this evening. As we move the clock forward to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, you can see that the rain will be just on our doorstep, moving into the southern portions of North Carolina. And so it is again after that period that we would start to see the rain move into the area later on into the afternoon periods. And that would continue right on through the day, so that by Thursday evening, we've still got plenty of rain across the area, and that would continue right on into some of the early portions of Friday morning as well. And then, of course, in the Friday afternoon, some of the rain chances would start to fall off a bit. So, overnight tonight, expect to see temperatures dropping back down into the mid-30s across the area, and so we'll get very close to freezing out there this evening. So if you have any outdoor vegetation, make sure you bring that inside. A lot of trees have started to bloom out there already, so make sure you protect any of those sensitive outdoor plants. And the one thing working against us is we'll start to have some clouds move in, and the wind will also be a little bit light throughout the evening, and that, of course, helps keep the atmosphere well mixed. So we're not forecasting right at freezing, just a little bit above that, but again, just in case we do drop down to freezing, if the wind goes calm in any areas, make sure you bring in those outdoor plants. And because of that, the National Weather Service has issued a freeze watch from the Triangle area northward for the potential that some of those areas could get into the freezing temperatures. So make sure that, again, you cover up any of those outdoor plants. And then for tomorrow, we expect a high of 54 degrees, a light wind out there, the rain beginning in the afternoon and continuing on into the evening as we break tomorrow down just a little bit further so you know what to expect throughout the day. By 8 a.m., the rain not quite here yet, but we'll have plenty of clouds across the area. By noon, the rain will have arrived already with 47, and then we'll even be warmer than we were at noon at 8 o'clock tomorrow with 51 degrees. And as we take a look at the 5-day forecast now, after the rain showers move in the afternoon on Thursday, it continues mainly throughout the entire day on Friday, and then we'll start to see some warmer temperatures after that. Look at that. We'll get into the 60s for Saturday with plenty of clouds across the area, and then we'll warm back up into the upper 60s Sunday and even make it into the lower 70s on Monday. So warmer weather is headed our way.
It's about time.
Yes, we will enjoy it.
Thanks, Drew.
All right, you're welcome.
What might be the most gruesome injury on a basketball court?
We'll tell you about Kevin Ware's long road to recovery.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Get caught buzzed driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Natalia Perez. The worst injury ever on a basketball court. That's how commentators described it. It happened during the Elite Eight game between Duke and Louisville to Cardinals sophomore Kevin Ware. Earlier today in a press conference, he had this to say about his injury.
I guess I just landed wrong and I didn't see where I was landing, so that's kind of what caused the injury. But I kind of felt like stuff like this doesn't just happen for no reason. You know, there's a reason behind everything. So I'll soon to find out what the reason is going to be. But it's just a process that I'm ready for. You know.
It will be a while before he plays again, but when he does, he could come back good as new, or even better than before. Julian Caldwell reports.
The fall that broke sophomore Louisville guard Kevin Ware's leg was so bad, we won't show it to you. All you have to see is teammates' reactions on the court, tears and all. But how bad is it?
Oh, he'll definitely be able to come back.
He won't be back for the Final Four this weekend, but athletic trainer Megan Fulton predicts in about a year, he should be back on the hardwood.
He'll have a long road of rehab and, you know, some hard times ahead, but he'll definitely be able to come back and probably play basketball at the same high level, if not higher, you know, than he before the injury happened.
During surgery, a metal rod like this one was inserted into Ware's leg after resetting the bone. Fulton says massaging to keep down swelling will likely follow the surgery. Then it's on to rehab exercises to gain back agility and mobility. It's a process, but one Fulton says is successful for this type of injury.
When you break something, as he did, as horrific as it was, once it heals, you know, your bone heals and you tend to be just fine in the long run.
But sports psychologist Dr. Elizabeth Hedgepeth says the long run is the most trouble for recovering athletes. That's after teammates and other supporters pass the initial reaction to rally around the injured athlete.
They're not going to be gathering around him like they do. It's like any other tragedy. People come for a while and then they get on with their life.
Hedgepeth and Fulton both agree that maintaining confidence is the biggest challenge.
It's going to take time, and he won't know that he's going to be able to get through it until he gets through it.
And chances are he'll get through it before his college basketball career is over. In Chapel Hill, I'm Julian Caldwell.
In the press conference earlier today, Ware said doctors told him it could take 8 to 12 weeks for the bone to heal. He's been cleared to travel with his teammates to Atlanta for the Final Four. Rumors last week that NC State head coach would leave the Wolfpack for UCLA. He'll still be in Raleigh for the start of next season, but his 5 starters have packed their bags. State fans aren't this happy today. That's because everybody's gone. Freshman star Rodney Purvis, you see him right there guarding P.J. Harrison, he's transferring. He follows the other starters out the door. Star C.J. Leslie Cutout might have to stay, but he won't. He and guard Lorenzo Brown, that's him hitting the corner 3 over Bryce Johnson right there, both declared early for June's NBA draft. Seniors Scott Wood and Richard Howell both graduate this year. No word yet if any Carolina players will declare early. The deadline is April 28th. One basketball player who will be in the Wolfpack roster next year is in action tonight at the 2013 High School McDonald's All-American game in Chicago. At least 2 Tar Heels will be there as well. Isaiah Hicks is a 6'8" small forward from Oxford, North Carolina. Kennedy Meeks is a 275-pound center from Charlotte. Hicks and Meeks are the top 2 players in the state. The top player in the country will also be there, Andrew Wiggins. He's still considering UNC, Florida State, Kansas, and Kentucky. And going back to that horrific Ware injury, Alex and Avery, you guys saw that on TV, right?
That is easily the worst injury I've ever seen live, Natalia.
It was so unfortunate. We hope the best for him.
Absolutely. I wish him a speedy recovery.
I think we all do. Thank you, Natalia.
Thanks.
Thousands of eggs were scattered all over Carroll Hall this weekend.
Was it an Easter April Fool's? We'll have that story after the break.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. And if you have questions about this program, write to us at Carolina Week, Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week online at carolinaweek.org.
Kids will spend 57 minutes making me go splat.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Did you get anything from the Easter Bunny this weekend? UNC's Carroll Hall certainly did. Nearly 2,500 Easter eggs were left around the journalism school this weekend. From classrooms to couches to stairwells to bathrooms, no area was forgotten. But a bunny wasn't the culprit. A journalism class focused on branding was responsible for the egg hunt, and students who participated in the hunt weren't just looking for candy. 12 eggs guaranteed a much bigger prize, an Apple TV or an iPad mini. The professor of the class, Gary Kay, says it was an experiment in social media marketing because the only way students could find out how to claim their prizes was through Facebook or Twitter. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.